Hi, my name is Judith, or Judy for whoever wants to be hip and cool and familiar. Anyway, today I'm here to give a short lesson on how to connect on the internet, tips from an amateur blogger, and I'm going to be gearing this presentation specifically to teachers or people who are interested in pursuing the teaching profession, just because I feel like having a professional learning community is something that can really help further your career and your skills as a teacher. So I feel like the thing that people struggle with the most when starting their internet lives, I guess you would call it, is choosing a website where you really feel like you can establish your roots and your base and use that to branch out. So the advice that I usually give to people is to choose a platform or a website and stick with it. There are a lot of different things that you can do on the internet, but I chose the four I felt are most commonly used. So the first thing I have up on there is blogging, which is obviously, writing a blog, writing about your day and posting it on the internet, and then other people look at it and read it and they respond to you. So the good thing about blogging is that if your strength is writing, you should definitely pursue that. And you can also find other teachers' blogs and use that to connect with them and bounce ideas off of each other. So blogging is definitely one I would recommend. The next one I have on the list is online forums, which is, you log in and you write stuff on the board and people respond back to you, and you have this dialogue going back and forth. So the good thing about a forum is that you can have real conversations that aren't interrupted in between by anything like blog posts or something like that. Another resource that I would recommend actually is Facebook groups, because the thing about Facebook is that you can be very selective about who you do interact with. You can have security settings which prevents people that you wouldn't feel comfortable interacting with from contacting you, which is good. And Facebook obviously does give a very personalized experience, and you can get to know the people that you're talking to by their photos and the things on their profiles. And the last one I have on my list is YouTube vlogging, and vlogging is short for video blogging. So this would be where you take videos of yourself and you put it up on YouTube. Well, this is kind of an example of vlogging, but not really. Anyway, so YouTube vlogging is where you put up a video of yourself, people look at the video, they comment on it, and they can make videos back to you. So that's another good way to interact with people, and it's also good because you can put a face to the people that you're talking to. So I think after you choose your platform and you really decide to stick with it, the next issue that you might have is actually finding your niche and finding people to talk to, because the internet is really big and there are a bunch of people on it, but it's not necessarily easy to make that final connection with them. So the first step in my strategy to help you make connections is to choose someone and remember them. Incidentally, this is the first step in how to become a stalker, but let's not go there, everyone. So you need to find somebody on the website. You'll definitely stumble across somebody that you feel really shares your interests, or somebody who has more experience and seems like somebody who could kind of guide you through the experience. So choose that one person and decide, I'm going to make first contact as if you are an alien. And then the second step in this process would be to reach out to them. The biggest fear I feel that people have when trying to talk to people on the internet is that they'll be rejected, or that they'll come across as being a creep or something like that. But from my experience, if somebody tries to talk to me on the internet, I either say, oh, I would like to talk to you and help you, or I say, I would prefer not to talk to you, and that's that. So you really have nothing to lose in trying to reach out and talk to somebody on whatever website you choose. And the next step after that would be to establish a relationship. So this is the same as speed dating, or going to a new class and meeting new people for the first time. You just talk to them, because that's how people get to know each other, I believe, talking and exchanging information and things like that. So and my last point here is to remember that people are still people, so don't be intimidated by the fact that you're on the internet. It's really no different than making a new friend. Just talk to them, because the more you talk to someone, the better you get to know them, the more you trust them, and the better your overall experience on whatever website or platform you choose will be. And so I think that a lot of people voice a lot of concern about the internet just because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. The idea of faceless interaction does lead to some issues, but these, I feel, are the three most important tips that I can give to anybody, especially a less experienced internet user, about how to keep safe, and also, I should have put a slash to say, how to not be a jerk. So the first thing I really want to point out, and I think this is the most important thing I can tell anybody, is that your privacy really matters. Just because you're on the internet and just because you feel a little bit disconnected doesn't mean that you should let your guard down too much. I know there are a lot of people who on their profiles on websites will put things like their address, where they live. Don't do that. Don't put your home address. Don't put your phone number. I don't even tell people what state I live in or what town I live in. I think the most information I give is that I go to Rutgers University, and that's it. Because Rutgers is so big, what are the chances of somebody finding me? My friends can't even find me at school. So don't give out your personal information unless you are in this really, really small enclosed community and you know that only the people you really, really, really trust can have access to your information. Don't put your information out there. That's how creepy people find you. And then the second point I have applies less to safety and more to the not being a jerk part, but basic manners still apply. Like I said, because the internet is mainly faceless interaction, it's mainly anonymous, people have a tendency to get kind of nasty. So I don't know if anybody has seen, but if you check the comments on most YouTube videos, you do see people being really, really rude to each other. And it kind of brings up the question, why would you do that? But the answer is because they feel like they're anonymous, people tend to not care about things like manners and basic human conduct. So if you do happen to have some kind of conflict on the internet, if somebody is rude to you, if you feel insulted, if something bad happens and you have the urge to type a comment like, "You're a jerk, I don't like your face," just don't do it. Don't do it. You look terrible, that person is gonna be angry and then start a fight with you, and it's just really not worth it. Just shut off the screen and go do yoga or something. And the final tip I have up on this screen would be to complain a lot. And I don't mean complain that you don't like the color of your website or whatever like that. I mean that if for any reason you feel uncomfortable or you are upset or you feel like you are unsafe, complain. Complain to the administrators and write down at, this time, this person said this to me and I felt very unsafe. Or, talk to your fellow users that you have hopefully established connections with and say, hey, I had this interaction and I felt really unsafe, or I don't like this. Then you have every right to complain because you're still a person on the internet. If you're in public and some creepy guy comes up to you and starts breathing down the back of your neck, you have every right to scream. So just complain. Say what you want to because you have every right to be safe and happy on the internet. And so why does all this matter? Why use the internet and all this fancy technology? Well, what I can say is that internet usage really does lead to collaboration because there's so much stuff available to us. We can share videos and links and all these different resources, so you can definitely find a way to collaborate with teachers and have them give you input and offer a lot of good advice too. The second thing would be you can learn a lot of new things because there's so many different people on the internet. You can learn from so many different people. So just that variety of interaction is something I feel like could really impart a lot of knowledge upon someone. The third thing I want to point out is that social support is really good. If you have a community of teachers and you're a teacher and you can go to that community and say, I was having a really rough day, or saying, I was having a really great day, it just makes it that much better if you have these people to go back to and talk to. And the last point I have just kind of goes along with that one, but it's fun. The internet is fun. If you make friends, it's fun. And if you're a teacher and you have fun talking to other teachers about your job, you, I feel, are going to be a lot more likely to enjoy your job and enjoy teaching. And so, oh, I get applause. Oh, I feel really honored. Anyway, so now it's your turn. What I challenge everyone watching this video to do is go start your own blog or start vlogging or do whatever. And after you feel like you've kind of established your base and kind of gotten into the groove of things, I want you to try to answer these questions. So, number one, which platform did you choose and why? Number two, how's your experience? And number three, what are some things you learned? So, I'm not your teacher. I'm not going to barge into your house, hopefully, because you haven't put your address up on the internet. But I'm not going to barge into your house and force you to write a paper. But just consider these questions and answer them and think of if your experience was worth it or not. And so at the kind of bottom half of the screen, I added a couple of links for people. If you're interested in vlogging, I included a little video on YouTube by Hank Green entitled How to Vlog, and he gives a lot of really good advice on your tone of voice, on how to how to lay out your videos and all this good stuff like that. I also have a link about writing good blogs that you can click on and check out and see all these good things about what to write about and what not to write about. At the very bottom, I have links for freesoundeffects.co.uk and stockexchange.co who, I don't know how to pronounce that, and that's where I got all the pictures and the sound effects I got for this video. So hopefully during these few minutes I was able to help at least a little bit. I hope that you'll be able to take these skills and go forth and prosper across the internet, and good luck!